Well, good day here at the Creative Zone. I am so excited to be back. And now I've done a whole bunch of low-key value paintings, and I'm going to be sharing them with you as we're studying value, and we're talking about all things related to value and shape. And I think you're really going to enjoy this program, and I think you're going to find it to be extremely full of new ideas for you. But I'm Judith Reedy at the Creative Zone, and I am glad to have you here. I am here on Facebook and on my YouTube channel, and also now on Instagram. So make sure to check me out on any of those locations. Like me, follow me, subscribe, do whatever you're supposed to do when you're there so you can get all the content that I have for you. I'm very, very excited about what I'm doing here. And I've actually learned some really interesting things about low-key paintings when I've done it, because we tend to have, as artists, we tend to move in a certain direction. We like certain kinds of things, and whether that is in our style or our way of working, when we have a different intent, sometimes we gravitate towards it, and our paintings end up, well, they're ours, and they become ours. And well, today I've been working on the whole idea of low-key paintings, low-key value. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to be explaining today, because I have been teaching some classes on color, and I've really taught my students a lot about how to mix different colors, how to, to a certain extent match. But I've really come to the understanding that as students, one of the things you fundamentally must deal with is the basement, the foundation of every great painting, which is value. And you need to become aware of how to assess the value and then how to match the value. You can even change the hue of what you're doing. And if you keep the value right, you're going to get a readable painting. So that's one of the things we've been working on. And of course, another foundational issue is shape. The shape of those values, because when one value ends and another begins, you're starting to delineate shapes. And sometimes they have soft transitions and sometimes they have sharp. But right now we're working on value. So I want to explain a little bit about what I do here at the Creative Zone, always going through my basic method, which is, what is your idea? Where do I get my idea? Sometimes it's a scene that I'm looking at, either in my home or outside. Sometimes it's a photograph. Sometimes it's something in my imagination. Whatever it is, it has to be refined and defined by design with shape and value in part 2, where you start designing your painting, where you start creating that image that you really, really, that'll really focus in and have your viewer understand and just get engaged in your idea. Sometimes you want the idea to be crystal clear, and other times you want it to have like a mysterious quality to it. But whatever it is, it's all part of your idea. And so I really want you to be able to refine your idea, and then I want you to be able to define your ideas, and then to understand what elements in your design are going to help you contribute to that idea, and what elements are going to distract from that. And then when we do our demos, I talk about that. So after we get our value and our design shapes, then I assign colors. I mix colors to go with those values. And I have a method of checking the value as I go along that you will be able to see today and other times I paint. and today we actually do the painting. So I'm very excited to be with you today, and I know that you're going to learn a lot, so we're going to get right into it. I may skip a couple of parts of the demo because what I have done is I actually played with this colors and values and really found that a couple things I learned, and I will tell you about them right now. One of the things that I actually learned was I learned that the values are so important that and the shapes are so important that just turning them and changing them can really make a different impact on your whole effect. And I just played with that, and that's what I'm going to be doing in the next couple demos with low key value. Now I want to make sure I have this right, and I guess I don't. So we're going to go to this. Now we're having a little bit of a problem. I am not sure what's going on here. Let's see if I can fix this video source for you, because we should have, let's see if I can make this a little bigger. I'm having a little bit of a problem here. Let's see if I can get this to work. Yep, we're going to try it again. There we are. We're going to go back and we're going to change this one. I think this will work. There we go. Oh, technical. Well, as you can see here, I have all the demos, all the various keys I have, and I will show you that we have been working on. The first one is the full middle value key. That was, we haven't done that painting, but we've done the drawing. The next one we did is the high key. And then today we're working on the low key stitch. So we're going to get rid of the full value key, and we're going to get rid of the high key. And today we're going to focus on the low key. That was my palette that I mixed, and those are the colors that we're primarily using in our painting. So I'm kind of rearranging things so I could show you everything. So we're going to speed it up a little bit. But as you can see, I started a little bit on that painting. It's going to be a 9 by 12, just a quick little study. And I'm going to start mixing the colors so that you can see how I go about doing this, how I adjust check my values, and make sure that they're accurate. Now you see that I changed this to grayscale so I can see what's going on, and now I changed it back. And I can see that I have it pretty much spot on what I want it to be. You know, one of the things that is really tricky is, keeping, now here I'm adjusting the hue, but keeping the same value. And that's going to create kind of a glow, which is what I'm playing with right now. I added a little bit of cad red light to a mixture of yellow ochre and white. And that's what I'm working on right now. And I'm going to check that value and make sure I have it. That looks pretty close. So I'm going to put it in there and see if I can make it a little darker. Yeah, I think I made it too. There we go. That's a little darker. That's what I wanted. So that's how I check my values to make sure. And this is a good hint. You actually are looking at it and photographing it and changing and removing the saturation so that you can see the value you're actually mixing. And that's a great way to experiment and check your accuracy of reading those values, because one of the things we're doing is learning to assess value so that we get it get the effect that we want to have. So now I'm working on the sky. I see that there's a little, I may be adding a little black, a little blue to that, and checking the value. That's what I want. And I'm having a really, and I'm adjusting that glow in the, on the sunset area and really trying to get that effect. You know, when I was driving home the other day and the sun was setting, I was really looking at the sky and seeing how that sunset, and I really wanted to make sure that I got that light the way I wanted it, the way I imagined it. You know, it's basically low key, but I'm playing with the colors. And as I said, the hue, we can adjust the hue if we want to get that effect. If we want to get a certain effect, which is what I'm doing. So here I'm working on my sky and getting it pretty much the way I want. Now, the next area I'm going to start working with is that middle area and making sure the color there is, and you can't even tell that I added a color, so I must be putting in the right hue. And right now I'm not putting in, I'm just putting in the general value, general hue value, and I'm not being really precise. I just want to get in the and I will adjust it later and change it a tiny bit. This is acrylic paint, so and I'm getting in with, now I'm mixing some burnt sienna in with the mixture of cad red light, white, and yellow ochre, and giving it kind of a more subdued color. I don't want the whole area to be, and I still may end up darkening it a little bit more, but I do want to give it some color, so I'm layering it, much like I do when I work with pastel. That's what I like about acrylic. I can layer it so quickly. And as you see, I'm darkening it in. The focal area is really in the upper right, and that's where I'm taking, but I still need some areas to lead your eye up there. So I have a certain amount, and the eye tends to go from dark to light. So, you know, if I have the lower left dark and it's pointing that way, it will tend to lead you back into that. Now I'm going to be starting to work with the trees that, and as right now they're just large, huge masses. And when I do mix them, I can't add, now that was way too light. Even to me, I could tell right away. And I want to give it a little more texture, variation on the front here, and then in the foreground. And now I'm working with this whole idea of the trees. I'm adding a little bit of green because I'm mixing my green by mixing yellow ochre and Payne's gray. That's Payne's gray is the black I'm using, which is really a mixture of carbon black and an ultramarine blue. So now eventually, now the interesting thing is on a sunset painting, you do get a certain amount of, you have this recession shown, but you have, with sunsets, you have a lot more silhouette than you would in a daytime situation. So I'm still going back and playing with that sky a little bit. I like, when I paint, to paint the whole painting and paint in all sorts of areas and not just finish one area perfectly, because I really work the whole painting at one time. One of the things about nocturnes that I've learned in this exercise is it's like drawing in shapes. It's really, and your shapes, you have to be very, very conscious of your shapes, because it's primarily a value painting. Yes, you have some color, but it's primarily the focus and strength of the painting is in the value structure and in the no-tan structure of the... So now I've got a little closer for you to see a little bit more. Now I have the tree just a little bit, the branches, the sun is setting on the far right, upper right, and so we have a little bit of the light caught on the tops of the trees, and we have some cast shadows, but they're disappearing as the sun goes down. It becomes much more difficult to read them, and here I've decided to go back and change the color again. When I've done this exercise, we're going to be doing another one on Tuesday. I think you're going to find it to be really fascinating to see how we can change these nocturnes, because I got another nocturne after this. I'm going to finish this one on Tuesday, and then I'm going to have you see a third one, a new nocturne on Thursday next week. So I think you'll find this to be really kind of an interesting way of clarifying the values and shapes here and how that works. Now I didn't finish this one. This one will probably get finished on Tuesday, but I keep working. I want to get layers of color. I wipe it off, and I'm leaving some behind. That's how I work with acrylic. I do a lot of wiping, and so there we go. And that's what we have left. And I think you'll find this to be really, really helpful. So I want you to know that I have a course in which I really work a lot on value and color in landscape and in a still life situation. And this is Intermediate Color Principles, where we really deal with the illusion of space and with the different types of settings. Now today we did a low-key painting, which is pretty dark and pretty dramatic. George Inness was known for that, and many of the Hudson River painters were known for that. And if you would like to learn more about how to create illusion with space and shape, take a look in the link below at Intermediate Color Principles. I think it will be real helpful to you. You'll learn about foreground, middle ground, and background, mixing your colors, adjusting your values in different scenarios. Also, I really enjoy, I really enjoyed showing you how we are able to change a whole. We started with one image, and by the time we were done changing the values, we created an entirely different time of day and setting and feeling. And to be able to consciously understand how that works and why that works is really helpful to you as you learn to paint. And it will give you, it will solve a lot of problems for you in the future. So, I also want you to know, those of you in my Color Foundations class, that I added a new unit for you on florals, and we're going to be, I hope that you take a look at it, because it has a great deal of work on keeping the values but adjusting the hue to using a different hue. We don't so much change the value. We might change, I guess we make things lighter, but the relationships between the values stay the same pretty much, so that the form of the flower can stay the same. And I show you how to do that, and it really gives you a lot of confidence in color mixing and in keeping your values and knowing how to assess your values. But those of you who really have never been able to mix color very effectively should love my 7 essential simple tricks to mix color. I give you a warm and cool of each primary that will allow you to mix virtually any color. And I show you how to adjust those colors, and I show you how to create brilliant and subdued secondaries, and how to even adjust those with tints, tones, and shades, as well as with complements. Plus, we talk about color vibration. So you should love 7 essential simple tricks. You can watch it online anytime on your desktop, your tablet, or your phone. So I think you'll like it, and if you have any questions, of course I'm here to answer them for you. You can just raise the question and I'll get back with you. You can leave it right here in the post-it right here. Just mention the course and what your question is, and I will answer it for you. And you know, you get all of that for only $7. So here I am, Judith Reedy at the Creative Zone. I am so happy that you joined me today. We are going to be continuing this painting that we started, finishing it on Tuesday, and then start another low-key painting for Thursday. And I know you're going to like it. And then the following week, we're going to be working on some high-key painting. So I hope that you join me again and on this coming Thursday. And remember, check out 7 essential simple tricks, and also I hope that you take a look at Intermediate Color Principles. Again, I'll see you on Tuesday and Thursday at about 10 p.m. Central Standard Time.